Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're here for D&D. We'll see where this goes. I have no idea.
We may or may not be melting gerbils.
We may or may not be melting and or disintegrating gerbils.
Cast disintegrate on it.
That's a thing you could do. Last time, did you get your reward last time? I think you did. And you spent some time chilling at the Dawn and Dust Tavern, talking to some people, and decided to go visit Vols's new old friend Vernon at the winery because you thought there was a sale going on, and you thought it would be a nice detour to see if you had any information. You went there, had a great time, found out there was not in fact a sale, but it didn't matter because he liked Vols enough to give you all free wine and food. So you chilled there, you asked about anybody walking through, and they said, they get travelers all the time, but there was an interesting person that came by, a few days ago, like around a week ago-ish, and was dressed in a black cloak and purple garb, and caught your interest and was heading south, but not to Amaroth, is what he said to Vernon. And he was coming from the north. You finished up your night there. Some of you looked with wide eyes at the riches of Vernon, and his winery. And then you decided to head to Amaroth the next day, to see what awaited you there, as Eliana had mentioned that, if you're looking for stuff, Amaroth has stuff and things and people. And Kurze said, sounds good.
We like stuff and things.
There. Exactly. And so...
People. Well, some people.
Some people. I don't know. I don't remember if you guys ended up discussing what specifically you were going to be looking for in Amaroth. But you decided to head there, and after a brief journey, Kurze got to narrate the scenery and the journey, and you arrived at the gates of Amaroth, a bustling trade city, one of the three major cities, kind of city-states almost, of the Emerald Coast. A open city, as those of you who passed through Amaroth on your way here, which I believe was everybody, I think. Maybe not. Maybe one of you didn't come through here, but almost everybody.
No, I did not.
Okay, so a few of you didn't come through here. But still, a majority of you passed through Amaroth on your way to the Dawn and Dust Tavern. You remember that the gates are open. They're always open. They have guards at the front of the gates. It is a rich and competent city from all appearances. Not careless in their defenses, but open to all. There's not like checkpoints at the gate. You don't have to explain your reasons for arriving. They just kind of have people there standing guard, make sure that nobody's running in with a flaming sword or something to kill everybody. But aside from that, obviously that was a reference to a specific thing that happened in the past. Aside from that, you arrive at the gates of Amaroth, a bustling, loud, kind of, you hear the sound of bells. I think I described bells and shouts of markets, and people kind of just wandering through the streets. You hear the sound of waves as you're on the shore, probably seagulls. And for those of you who aren't used to city life, it is definitely a lot of senses happening at once. And yeah, I'm going to say you arrive kind of. We'll start the session where you're here. You're not quite in the city. You arrive at kind of the front entrance, where there's a few houses kind of scattered about here. But you can discuss what exactly your goals are, what you're looking for, and kind of tell me where you're going to head, what you're going to do.
Well, this is new to me. This is this is more people here in this street than I think I've even seen in my life. Just looking down there, all the people passing by. He's gonna kind of like wipe the back of her head a little bit, kind of like, what?
Yeah, and there probably isn't a constant stream of people going in and out of the city necessarily. There's certainly, people that are passing you. It's not like a flood.
People, and he's like, wow!
Yeah,
Welcome to
right.
New York.
But I would say as the gate is open, as you see into the city and the street in the city itself, it is very obvious it is crowded, very crowded, as people are, going about their business in the city.
It's a whole lot bigger than Coelacanth. Kind of with you, V. There's a lot more people than I've ever seen in one place.
Even though it's the second time going through here, it's still quite a lot. Why don't people settle out in the surrounding landscape? I mean, just sucks to be packed so tightly together. Don't they get uncomfortable?
V's
Maybe
gonna
we'll see-
point at the wall.
Yeah, well, they are protected, so can't guarantee that out in the forest.
But Kurze, we might see Sir Daniel again.
Oh, that's true. I'll keep my eyes peeled. Though we should also, I think one of the reasons we came here was to, see if we could find someone that had any sort of knowledge of, religious rituals surrounding the solstice.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna be looking around for some more of that information, huh?
Or anything about Shard, really. Any people that are experts on that are not Shard worshippers, ideally. Chances are they probably wouldn't work with us anyways if that were the case.
I'm sure there's libraries or maybe even some churches that could have some knowledge.
I'll kind of look around, see. I don't know if from what's closest to us, whether it's like residential or if it's mostly the commerce in marketplace.
Well, I feel like first we gotta get in there.
Yeah, assuming, okay, so I assume that means you pass through the gates of the city and enter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of imagine this as just kind of as we're
Walking
going
and
through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd like to. We could ask the guards some stuff.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Do you know where we might find some information on, theological stuff on the Emerald Coast?
Hello, citizen. Well, we do have churches and libraries. There's something specific you're looking for?
We're just we're wondering about, certain holidays or certain things of religious significance about some deities that we're not too familiar with. So is there would you say we might find a researcher or people that are particularly knowledgeable in those churches and libraries?
Is there like a research or like a church district?
Not necessarily a church district. per se. Some prefer to be in residential areas. Some prefer to be near to the market. Kind of depends on the deity to which they worship. With regard to researchers and people who are knowledgeable, typically that's, who sets up a library.
Okay.
And churches, typically the people who are at churches have knowledge about the deity. I think that's kind of the point.
Right.
So set it up right there.
What's the biggest library in the city?
Yes. Well, I'd say our most prestigious library is the Marymount Library. I can type that in the chat for you.
Do you have any directions on how we can get there?
Yes. Hold on.
Head south, take a left, take a right.
Head south, go down the alley, around the bend, cross the water, and you're there.
Yep.
Now take a left into the alley across the water. Okay, so it's right there next to the gate. Got it.
Fight 3 waves of wizards to gain entrance.
Exactly. You understand. He gives you instruction to. I don't know if you guys can see my ping. It's
I
kind
do
of.
see it. It's next to the water in the middle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yep. Okay.
So I was kind of right. It's across the water.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
To
It's
that
across the
location.
water as long as you cross the water again.
I think Vols, just kind of out of curiosity, since he's never been here, would just ask the guard, like, we might be here for a day or two. Are there any cool attractions or anything the city is known for, or anything you recommend going to check out?
Is there 6 Flags?
Hell yeah.
Well, we're not exactly a tourist city, except for, I suppose, if you're looking to splurge. We have fantastic food. Wonderful.
Look at Seraphine.
Oh, I was saying, wonderful hospitality services, if I do say so myself. Finest silks on the Emerald Coast, but most particularly, people come here to, well, buy things and sell things. If you are looking to purchase something, or find out how to get it,
This is the place.
I can't guarantee it, but Emerald is likely the place for you.
You mentioned silks? What particular silks are you guys known for?
I mean, we're not known for silks in particular, just when it comes to hospitality, the quality of the lounge areas is renowned. Our beds and our sofas and our dining areas are well known for their cleanliness and comfort.
Sounds good to me.
Do you think I would have known some of that based on what my mom did growing up? Or what my mom works as?
Certainly, there would have been a large import to Amaroth, yes.
Yeah.
Not necessarily anything more significant than other large, of the 3 large trading cities, they're probably relatively, it probably varies based on the year, but not one isn't consistently more importing than the other, but yes, you would recognize that there were large imports to Amaroth. Probably Amaroth and and Verd more and more than Malthius. But
Gotcha. Well, I think we're definitely looking forward to checking out the city. Thanks for the direction.
certainly.
Indeed. Have a nice day. It's kind of
You as
walking.
well.
Unless anyone else has some more questions to interrogate. Maybe you could go talk to the other guard that's there. Save this guy trouble.
Guard number 2, answer for yourself.
I was like, there's probably more than 2 guards. It's probably like, 2 on each side, maybe one that's like pacing back and forth along the road,
So
a couple that are
everyone
stationed a little further
knows
out.
that in a gate at a fancy town,
only 2.
there's 2 guards, one on each side of the gate.
Exactly.
And one only tells the truth, and the other one only lies.
Yep.
One's a good
Did you-
cop, one's a bad cop.
You just kill one of them. It's just like, did I kill that person?
No.
Wow.
Looks the other way. Well,
We
what
have
shall
our-
we go to first?
We gotta do our left into the alleyway across the water, and we're at the library.
Yeah. Oh, I have a good idea. How about oh, I should have asked just in case. No, I'll see if I can find a church to Selene or Sehanine. And then maybe they'd have some info on Shar. At least a little bit. And then the rest of you guys can go and check out the library. That way we can kind of take care of 2 birds with 1 stone.
Sure.
Works for me.
Yeah. I don't think there's a church to Shar here. Okay. Well, I'll go ask, kind of just go up to the first person I see. And just
Oh.
excuse me, sir or madam.
Robot turns over. Dang it.
Yeah.
Undisclosed person.
Do you know
It's
where I
Carter.
could find a church to the moon?
He does have to roll for
Nope.
Okay.
If he's gonna put a hand on your shoulder, what if we went to the church or maybe found some more guards or, people that have been staying here for a while, this kind of question.
Yeah, but that would... I feel like that would just be too straightforward.
Kurze, make a history check.
Okay.
Please.
Well, if we're going to the library, if you guys
15.
hit me hard enough,
What is
then
it?
I'll become Elysium.
15.
15. You remember reading many of your adventure stories. Oftentimes, when the hero is looking for information about a new location that they're in, one of the common themes is that they ask an innkeeper or a tavern keeper.
Oh, all right. So off of that, V is gonna say one of the things that we should also be looking for is maybe a place to stay if we're gonna be here for a few days. Vols mentioned that, so if you want to find a tavern, if you want to keep meeting random people and talking to them, tavern's a good place. You said 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm gonna give you 3 birds with 1 stone.
As
You make a very good point.
former trader along the Emerald
You were a
Peninsula,
trader?
have I been here before?
Are you Carter right now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
What's my
Why is she
favorite
hunting
tavern?
birds with stones?
What's your favorite tavern? I don't
Mhm.
know. What is your favorite tavern?
6 Flags.
Something loud.
Something loud.
Well,
That's my
where's
favorite
like
tavern
the
name.
main dock
Six
that I would
Flags is
get
loud.
into first of all? Which
Um,
set of docks?
Ooh, that's a good question.
This one at the
Probably.
very south is the middle
Mm,
one.
I would say probably Carter would most often go to probably this Oops. I'm on this area. Yeah, I'm gonna. My cursor is open. So yeah, like this area of the docks.
Okay.
Probably there's an inn. There's an inn nearby. Probably.
A salty
I'd say
salmon.
most of this is docky. We'll call this an inn. Right here.
Okay, this one.
Why not?
This funky looking L.
Exactly. Inns are
Italy?
always L's.
All right. Don't take your eyes off that spot.
I'm gonna
How do I
have to
blink?
start marking this shit up. Hold on.
You have a
Do I
name
have
for
a
it?
text? for
There,
that?
Vols is there. You made it.
Gosh.
Oh yeah.
Wait, Vols, we're supposed to
Um,
be at the library down here.
Oh, you're right. Vols, he's in 2 places at once.
What's
How do you do that?
what's the name of your favorite inn, Carter?
Oh, come on. I'm not the DM.
It's your favorite inn.
I've made too many of these already. I've used all the good ones.
Yeah.
True,
I've already
Ethan
done
is
the
good at
dragon.
games.
Dragon.
So that would be.
Is this like more of the markety district over here?
It's probably yes. It is. It is. So
Yeah,
this
the salty spittoon.
the salty tune. Perfect.
How tough are you?
This is an inn that is common for sailors who, the boatsmen of the traders. So they're the people, the ship captains, and they come here after a nice long voyage, and rest up while the traders go do their thing.
Yeah, those traders, am I right?
Those damn traitors.
And then this is the
Sorry, guys.
Never
I have
known
to tell you
about that.
eventually.
Okay, so Kritz is gonna go talk to random people at the tavern, and we're going over to the library.
Did you just call him Crits?
Something. I don't know what I call him after I say it. That's the point.
Wrong
If
again.
okay,
G.
alright.
Regardless, I'll go over and check that out.
I'll go with you.
Uh,
I don't want to go to a library.
Yeah.
Unless someone wants to hit me really hard.
No, I feel you go with them. We need someone to keep them in check from asking if it's okay to join cultists in the middle of the town.
Very true.
So
I feel like
I don't know if
you.
you'll
Vols would
specifically
kind of
fit
want
in
to
there.
go as well.
Listen, Vols, I know Carter's going over there as well. So if you
I'm
want to go
in.
with Carter, to
Not
go,
for that reason, but for the sailor reason.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Okay, okay.
But also for Carter. Because he's my friend.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
also
buddy.
go with.
Going over to the tavern as well. All right.
Lorn?
Looks like it's me and you, Lorn.
Yep.
Godspeed.
You guys have fun at the tavern.
Oh, yeah.
oh, plus Carter, since you've been there before, you could probably talk to the innkeep.
Sure can.
I could see that going.
Innkeep's name is Cornelius.
Oh, good. I don't have to come up with that. Yeah.
Is that with a Q?
Cornelius.
Cornelius. Me with my core.
All right, who wants to go first?
Let's
Oh,
go with the inn.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely in folk.
All right. Carter, Vols, Seraphine.
As we kind of
and-
walk over, I'm going to be
Where is
trying to
it?
like tuck up my hair into my hat a little bit more.
Oh, yep.
I had a lot less hair last time I was here.
Arrive at the Salty Spittoon Tavern.
All right. What time of day is it?
It's probably afternoon by now.
Perfect timing. This is the usual time for me. When it starts. Don't look into that. It's not sad. I'll slam open the door.
Damn.
It does finally open inward, but Kurze doesn't get a chance to do it.
What's up,
Nobody
everyone?
seems to flinch because this is like like every single time a sailor comes in here, they do the same thing. They all kick over the door.
Son of a hag.
As you walk in and you close the door behind you, the wall where the door opens is just absolutely obliterated. Yeah, and you come in and you yell, "What's up, everybody?"
Just gonna
They all
go
look at
around
you, and
dapping everyone up. Like, what's up, Gary?
Most people don't look over. They all raise their glass and they cheer, though. And the barkeep looks over to you.
I am back.
And you know, as any good barkeep would, he remembers his customers, especially his regulars. And he looks to you and he says, "Carter, it's been a long time."
What is up, Cornelius? It's been a while. I've been very busy.
Yeah? How's your crew?
That's a great question.
And the answer
Cornelius,
is...
I'd like you to meet Vols.
Okay, hello, Vols.
Pleasure.
Unfortunately, the Wave Slayer is no longer with us. We'll do a little Father Son, Holy Spirit. Looking down for a sec.
Christianity is canon now.
The Changebringer is Jesus.
Maybe I'll do like the opposite almost, so it's like a sword.
Oh yeah. He goes, "Oh damn, that's a shame. That was a nice ship."
Right? I'm gonna miss the old gal. But I know my days aren't behind me. But for today, let's get some drinks. And I'd like to get a room as well. A couple rooms, probably.
Certainly. How many rooms do you like?
How many of us are there? 6?
5. 6.
Who
Double
said 5?
I didn't count myself for some reason.
Oh.
3 rooms will do.
Sure. 3 rooms and...
Matt, I see you doing the math through your eyes. I just saw you staring, just all right, so they're gonna be with their.
Say for room and board, including food and stuff, we'll call it 2 gold a person a day. We'll call it 1 gold per room, 1 gold per person for food.
Sounds like a plan.
I guess we gotta figure out how many days we want to be here.
You can pay day by day.
Yeah, it's okay. Alright. I'll grab my booze. Pop up at the bar. Introduce everyone else as well. And I'll make sure I say hello to everyone around the bar as well.
Yeah,
I
there's
actually
definitely
do that.
some familiar faces. There was always new faces. I mean, there's always different captains coming through here, people who are just starting up, or people who are just on a different route, or new deck hands who are just either switched ships or starting their career or whatever. But there's also definitely some familiar faces, some old captains, or consistent younger people, but first hands or something like that. Or,
Would I recognize anybody from my old crew?
that is a good question.
It was 2 years ago, roughly.
Not right now.
Okay.
I feel like Vols, as like Carter is introducing himself, or not introducing, but like saying hi to everyone, Vols would be like right behind him, actually introducing himself to everyone in the bar.
Yeah, I get Carter's just like kind of dapping everyone up, and Vols is just like, "Hi, Vols. Hi, I'm Vols."
Exactly.
And Kurze right now is at the perfect height. That's exactly what
Yeah,
it
I
looks
was
like.
gonna say.
Hi.
Casarin's taller than him.
Does anyone know where in town there's like a Church of the Moon? Nice to meet you, by the way.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, good. I have a +1 to that. because
Yeah, because of your blessing.
Just gonna move my dice box down here. 19.
19. Wow. So Kurze cuts through all the chatter, and somehow manages to project his voice out in a way that is oddly like commanding in the sense of like respect from these gritty salespeople or salespeople. Get sailors.
yeah.
That's the one. Sailors, salespeople, and but at the same time respectful and kind and not like rude. And a moment passes and you feel like everybody just ignored you, and you're like, yeah, that tracks. And then somebody speaks up. It's actually a woman who is kind of with a group at a different table who Carter hasn't dapped up yet, and she kind of looks over and you know, maybe Seraphine gets this because Seraphine is just keeping an eye out. Seraphine is as a hawk, just watching everything that is going on here, seeing if anybody is being a threat. And Seraphine probably notices this woman look over and kind of give you a once over and just kind of raise her eyebrow. And she goes, "Little man, come here."
Oh,
Is
hi.
it B?
Me, no.
As Kurze is like walking towards her, I'm now Kurze's shadow.
Mm-hmm. And she's not that far away. It's not a small place, but it's not like. I mean, it's like a restaurant, right? It takes you all of 30 seconds to walk over. And she goes, "You're looking for a Temple of the Moon, eh?"
Yeah, I thought I could get some info on some ritual we were trying to look into.
Interesting. Well, I don't know that about all that stuff, but I do know that Saluna has a temple here. If you're looking to go there.
Okay. If you could point it out to me, I'd be very happy.
Yeah, for sure. She will give you directions to the Temple of Saluna, which I will say is right over. Is my ping working? No, it's not. Here. I will put a new here. All right. Anything else from you?
Oh, also, my name's Kurze. What's yours?
Yes, Kurze, nice to meet you. My name is Hannah.
And
Antanta.
Can you spell that out for us on the notes?
You're acting like you're me or some shit. All right. Anything else from you guys in the inn?
well, I appreciate your help, Hannah, and calm waters to you.
Yes, certainly. That's why I pray.
Okay.
All
Oh,
right.
well, I'm ready to head over when you guys are.
We just got here, didn't we?
You did just get here.
We can at least stay for 1 or 2 drinks, right?
Maybe we'll catch
You
up with
say
you.
so, say less.
Or not.
Our party
Aw.
is full of alcoholics.
Come on, listen in. There's a ton of stories around here, man. I know you're interested in that kind of thing.
Mm, you do make a fantastic point. I'll kind of look around at the tables and see if there's Carter, from your experience as a sailor, which person around here looks like they could have a good story to tell?
Me?
Maybe some.
You know?
Aside from yourself,
Fair enough.
maybe someone with scars? Look around.
Oh.
Any old sailor usually has a lot of interesting things. They might not be sailing anymore, so they just kind of hang out here and have really perfected the art of storycraft.
All right, I'll look around for any old sailors.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Vols will whisper over to Carter as you're doing that. What about that girl that he just talked to? She looks like she's got some.
Am I familiar with
Ideas.
Hannah?
Make a history check.
15.
15. No, she seems new. Young. Women aren't like you see them around here. Women sailors. They're not incredibly. They're less common than men, but it's not like weird to see one here. But you've never seen Hannah around. But it's also been 2 years, so
Yeah, fair. Well, let's find out.
you're also. I want to be clear. I don't mean to say you've never seen her around. It's more just like you don't recognize her. She could have been here and you just never crossed paths with her.
That's okay. Well, why don't we introduce ourselves then?
Yeah.
Kurze, what was your perception check?
17.
17. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a good few old sailors around. So, I mean, there's probably one. There's probably one sitting at the table with Hannah. And there's a few, across the tavern. One's kind of just like passed out with a beer in his hand. One's probably sitting at a table with his crew, just kind of looking at a book. Looks like he's maybe moving some numbers, and one's just kind of chit chatting. One looks pretty drunk and is being boisterous, and then the one at hand with Hannah and Hannah's group seems to be as you know, they all have a beer in their hands. That's a given, but it doesn't seem like wasted or anything like that. Her group seems to be relatively mild mannered.
Vols will approach that table. Ahoy, sailors! Care if we join you for a drink?
The man will kind of the old man will kind of go to speak up, but then as Hannah sees you, she'll go, "Ah, little man. Of course, certainly. Sit down." And they'll pull up some chairs.
Appreciate it. This here is Vols and Carter. Much more known for sailing than I did. But I'm excited to see what the future holds. Maybe we'll get hold of a new boat to sail.
Oh yeah, you looking to set out an adventure?
Adventure's my middle name. Though I don't have a last name, so I'll work on that later. Titles can make that a last name.
I thought it was D. Or Maurice.
And I actually am looking for boat, but one to build actually. Didn't know if you had
Build your own
any
boat, eh?
info on that.
I'm not a boat builder, but I know people do it. I think that's more of a sailor camp thing, though.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm from.
Well, that makes sense.
My
The old man was okay. Go ahead.
my good friend here, gesturing to Kurze, as he is so proudly claimed, is an adventuring type, and he is also the storytelling type. And just based on mine and my other good friend here, our sailing intuition, I feel like you got some stuff to share, some good experiences.
Really, what makes you say that?
Just a hunch, nothing more.
The sea tells 1,000 tales.
The old man will speak up and say, "A hunch. That is how most of us live our lives." And she kind of looks at him and rolls her eyes, and goes, "Yes, I know. Well, what kind of a tale are you looking for?" Kurze over here is asking me about the moon. Is there you're looking for something specific about that, or I guess I don't really know what to say. Just met you guys. Don't really know what you're looking for, or why. She says with a little bit more caution, or kind of like almost like a "don't test me" kind of in her voice when she says that, but playfully.
From the bite in her words, does it seem like, is it more of a personal connection to the topic, or is it just seems like annoyed that I'm just being careful with my words?
Make an insight check.
It's cocked, but let's do it again. That is 12.
Well, it's hard to say with the 12 why, or she's, she acts the way she does. It's probably, you probably can't get much more than, sounds like she's basically just cautioning you not to waste her time.
Okay. Oh, well, I am something of a follower of the moon goddess, and there's been some enemies of the moon specifically some Shar worshippers that we've been on the lookout for. We encountered one already, and we're trying to track down, see if there's any other way to find the bedfellows of this cultist.
Wow, some real adventurers out here, aren't you? No, can't say that I've ever dealt with any cultists. He looks to the older man and kind of the rest of the crew as well. Seems like a relatively younger crew besides the older guy. And when I say older, he's not like decrepit. He's kind of like, buffled man,
40s.
No, not 40s. Like he's probably in his 60s. But still very healthy. Not hunched over or anything like that. Well groomed. And they kind of all shrug. Like, no cultists for me. Can't say I've ever dealt with that. And one of them speaks said, "My mom was a cultist, I think." And one of the other guys just slaps him on the back of the head. No, she wasn't.
It'd be like that.
Yeah. But we did hear word that someone heading south from
South from the winery, but not south to Amaranth.
Yeah, south, not to Amaroth, but like off to the side. Do you know if there's anything near Amaroth that's worth note?
I suppose it depends on what you're looking for. It's not like barren waste around here. There's forests and hills and creatures that roam around for hunt, or if you're looking to, plenty of people live out in the countryside just on their own, make a living. It depends on what you're looking for, and it also depends on, Amaroth isn't the only thing south of the vineyard. There's a whole coast. It could be anything along the coast.
True.
It doesn't have to be near Amaroth. They're heading south. Unless they gave you information that they were going near Amaroth, I suppose.
Do I recall it was near Amaroth from how not correct.
When Vernon was, I think it was actually Vernon's wife who was talking to you. She didn't say, she said he didn't say where he was going, but she had mentioned in conversation, like, "Oh, you must be going to Amaroth. It's a wonderful city." And he kind of responded, like, "No, I'm not going there." Kind of all it was.
Okay.
Is there a particular place you would avoid on the coast here?
Oh, is there a particular place I would have, as a sailor?
Just in general.
In general, I would stay on the road if I were you. We're not a nation, and if you stray from the road, there's no guarantee that you'll be guarded from creatures or scoundrels or whatever. And people can kind of set up in the middle of the woods, and if you wander across them, and, well, not to imply that there's murderers hiding around all over the place, but the law doesn't exactly keep an eye out in the middle of nowhere. And the middle of nowhere is anywhere that's not in a city or on a road in the Emerald Coast. But on the seas, if you're going sailing at all, I would certainly steer clear of the coast to the east of Amaroth. If you're going to head to the Rest Haven outpost, on that river, on the river of the West Border Woods. We've been taking a wider berth recently to get there.
Just like rough waves or like sea creatures, merfolk giving you.
Hard to say what, but well, a little while ago, ships started going, not big ones, but some of the newer ships are the just kind of smaller, quicker trading vessels that ride the coast have been going missing. I mean, people like to chalk it up to superstition. There's an abandoned old manor on the coast, and sailors like to make up stories. She kind of looks at Carter like, you clearly look like a sailor. You probably understand. And the more fantastical, the better. And one of the guy who said that his mom was a cultist speaks up and he goes, "There's a ghost ship raiding."
Nice.
Hannah, I'd be curious. You don't, from the way you talk, you don't strike me as a superstitious type. Do you have any stories about something that stretched your belief of the paranormal?
It's not my belief of the paranormal that is in doubt. Just jumping to conclusions about something like a ghost ship is, if somebody saw it, sure, I'd believe it. I've heard of crazier things. I mean, we've all seen a ghost or two in our lives. But it's a couple ships go missing. There's probably pirates or something going on, or I don't know. Maybe they just hit rocks because they suck at their job or something. And the captain goes, "Hey,
it'd be crazy."
Any reports of these missing boats, remnants appearing elsewhere, or have they just completely disappeared off the face of the coast?
I mean, like I said, we're not a nation. We don't really have a military to go investigate. So I can't say that I've heard of anybody like spotting a broken ship. I think that's part of what makes it so spooky for people. They just kind of sail off and then never reach the outpost, and then they just aren't heard from ever again. I mean, hell, they could have just, I don't know, maybe they just ditched for some reason.
Do you think there's any trading companies that would pay someone to go and look into the matter?
Probably. Yeah, I'm sure there are, yeah. Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean,
anyone in particular that has reported multiple missing boats or multiple instances of?
She kind of looks, I don't know. And she kind of looks to the rest of the crew, and the captain speaks up at this point again. The old guy, obviously. Goes, not much information. There doesn't seem to be any powder, and it's not been that many ships. Less than a dozen. It's hard to say. It's not like we keep tabs on everybody around here. People come and go, but the ones who go to are consistently going to the outpost. People know them. It's just the only pattern is that it's typically smaller vessels, not well-manned, multi-mast, ships. Which is why, I mean, typically, we don't sail as near to the coast. we naturally might just take a straight line as we can. But the smaller ones will stay closer to the coast just in case a storm comes or anything like that. So it's hard to say why. But it doesn't appear as if there's any particular company being targeted. I mean,
Do you all work with a specific company?
no, I mean, that's kind of what I was about to say. It's not like we fly. Most of us don't fly like flags of allegiance. So in order for somebody to target a company, they would have to have pretty good intel on who's trading for whom. I mean, typically it's, there might be a traders association that hires out a particular ship, but it's not, typically us sailors are just, we're our own bosses. We don't get together and create a fleet. That's not really our gig around here. I mean, the draw of the Emerald Coast is everybody's their own man. And that goes both for government and for corporations. So we don't like to kind of organize in that level.
Oh well. It's an idea to look into, but
I'm sure if you looked at one of the local guilds, they might have a quest posted or something about it. I don't doubt that somebody's contacted them, but
Well, still some good information to maybe look into, like you said, Kurze. Heck,
shelter.
yeah. Who knows? Maybe V and Lorn can attest to some of these rumors based on what they find.
I will remind you that in Rusthaven, the town crier mentioned missing ships on the Emerald Coast. I think there was rumors of a... Can't remember if they said haunted house or
Haunted manor.
Or pirate ships when the trader or when the town crier spoke, but this is reminiscent of that in Rusthaven.
There is what I did hear in Resthaven from the town crier, but who knows if those two things are related or if he's just speaking nonsense.
Yeah. The only thing is, I'm pretty sure the hint I got from Eliana about rituals, something had to do with places that were further into the peninsula. So, if there's a higher chance it's just something unrelated to that. Though, having something disconnected can, branch out in another way. That could be one way to kind of expand our knowledge. Having only one thing to pursue might make us a little too narrow focused.
True, I agree. Multiple leads can definitely be helpful.
Yeah, something to get the bigger picture of the Emerald Coast. Though, I'm sure it's a pretty big goddamn picture. I'm gonna check out that temple before it gets too late. You can always come back and get more stories in the tavern, since taverns are well, I'd hope it's open late. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Hannah. It's been a pleasure. And how about we buy you around for your troubles?
Sounds fair to me.
Vols will do so.
All right. Can knock almost call it gold. . All right, we'll go to the V and Lorn at the library right now.
Oh boy.
The library.
So it's like as the group's walking away, V just turns to Lorn and is like, "That feels like a mistake."
Well, decision's been made.
Well, this library then.
Off
Oh
we
my gosh,
go.
there it is again. Well,
All right. You head into the library.
indeed.
Yep.
Okay. You. It's a nice building. Looks like it's a few stories. All the buildings here are generally. None of them are like slummy, so it's not like especially notable that this one is nice. But it does appear to be well funded for a library. And you walk in, and there is a front desk, and there's appears to be a kind of a seating area, and a couple like bookshelves that are just kind of open to the front, and then there appears to be kind of a hallway that goes from the greater library past the front desk. It's not like barred off. It's like there's a circulation desk that you can stop at to ask questions if you want, but you can also just head into the library generally. And at the front desk is a young woman, of course. She has glasses because she's a librarian, which means she has to have glasses. Appears to be, most of the city is pretty human. A human woman with light brown hair, just kind of chilling, reading something. I don't know if it's like a book or if it's something for work or what, but kind of standing at the desk with like elbows on the desk.
Well, Lorn, you have anything specific that you're going to be looking for here?
Probably looking for
There's probably
stuff surrounding. What?
probably a few other people just kind of sitting around in the lobby too with books. And as you look into the library at large, there's a couple people just browsing.
Alright. But probably just looking things surrounding potentially things with Shar or surrounding the solstice.
Good. Yeah, Kurze would be interested in that kind of information. So as long as you're looking into that and having something to report back on, that sounds about right. As for myself, well, I'll be blunt. I have no interest in this cultist superstition stuff that is kind of a focus right now. But I think as of an overall, the Emerald Coast, since this is a new place for me, just learning about informations of the town here, the different cities, legends. Since we've already ran into one of those, it seems around the work that we plan to be doing, there's some stuff for that, and this would probably be my best opportunity to look into this, being new to the Emerald Peninsula after all.
Alright.
We have our plan then. V is gonna walk over to the lady at the desk. Greetings. I was wondering if you could point me in the direction of maybe the what's the way to describe it? I want to say like the non-fiction section of like the places here on the Emerald Coast.
Most of our books are non-fiction. You're looking for information about the Emerald Coast?
Yes, I moved here recently from the south, and the Emerald Coast is quite an interesting place and quite different from my homeland. I was wondering if there were books talking about the landscapes or territories, the cities around here?
Certainly, we have plenty of geography or political history if you're looking for it. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for, or just geography generally?
As of now, just the geography would do.
Okay,
Depends on how
yeah.
long my friend will also take for checking out their books as well.
And what are you looking for, sir?
Religious books.
Certainly. We have plenty of religious books. Is there any particular god or practice that you are looking into?
Anything surrounding the solstices.
Oh, surrounding the solstices. That would probably be. Well, if you're looking for the solstices specifically, that's probably going to be more in our holiday section than our religious section, though there would be some cross-referencing. It might be difficult to find books specifically about the solstice in the religion section, though typically it's kind of buried deeper in the miscellaneous gods. But
Hey,
I'll
there's
give you directions to both the holidays and the gods, just in case.
yeah, I can check out the holidays, seeing what celebrations happen around, maybe not even just the Emerald Peninsula, but other areas around here in the north, while you focus more on the more religious side of significance.
Sounds good.
If you kindly point us in the direction, we would be most appreciative.
Yeah, she gives you directions to the aisles and the floors in which your desired sections are on.
All right. Well, I'll be floating around there while you look specifically into what we're looking. Well, what you guys are looking for. Feel like the group using some individuality might be something to let them know. But I'll be around. So he kind of walks away.
Okay, well, if so, V, what exactly are you searching for?
Well, she mentions the solstice stuff and it being with holidays and stuff. So V's now looking at potentially festivals or events that do happen around during certain seasons and stuff. And I think festivals being like a key word, kind of thing, party stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead and make me an investigation or a history check.
I'll do. Okay, so that one's higher. That is a 17.
17. You definitely find books on holidays and festivals. Several of them, a couple compendiums maybe, and that list one, like festivals for every month, and whatever decorations for holidays of all times of year. And then you probably also find a book that's like, the summer solstice and all of its related celebrations or something.
Yeah.
What question are you trying to answer, or piece of information are you trying to find?
Well, for that with V, generally, as of like this, nothing in particular. Just, actually learning, what kind of festivals are happening in the land. Just kind of more of the enjoyment of, okay, so this is something that goes on. That, maybe there's like a festival where they catch barrels from the river with nets or something. And, V's like, oh, that's a neat thing. Just kind of learning the culture that's on the Emerald Coast. So nothing
Okay, so you're
specific.
I mean, so you're looking specifically for Emerald Coast celebrations?
Yes, specifically
Okay.
Emerald Coast.
Yes,
That is true.
Yes. So, I mean, you flip through a couple of the different compendiums, and several of them don't mention any geographical area at all, and you're kind of just like, well, that's not helpful. And then the one that is about the summer solstice specifically probably has it. It's kind of a compendium of like all of the different festivals on the summer solstice for all the different countries, basically. And so there's probably one for Emerald Coast, and I'm in the Emerald Coast section. Part of what it says is, see references for festivals by species. And then, Emerald Coast is not a unified nation, and each of the cities holds each of the cities and towns may hold their own celebration for the summer solstice each year, depending on their own traditions. But beyond that, the individual species that reside within the Emerald Coast, of which it is a diverse array, have their own traditions, which they commonly celebrate as well. And then it probably goes into some of the cities' traditions, and most of them are pretty similar. And it's not like a very detailed account, it's more just kind of general bullet points. And most of them are like food, day off work, they especially on the coast, they have like water games that they do. If it's more inland, then they often will have like carnival water games, like a dunking tank, or like a water balloon fight. I guess you don't have rubber, so you can't have water balloons. But I'm sure there's a magic spell to make like water
Shape
balloons.
Water.
Yeah. And stuff like that. But oftentimes on the coast, it's water related. It's which it kind of describes like, whole point of summer solstice is it's the longest day of the year, and typically that also means it's like usually not rigidly, but it's often the hottest or near the hottest day of the year, and so people like to enjoy the water on that day because it's fucking hot.
I like the style of this book.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever the author of this one is a genius.
Yeah, and they write it's FUC 'IN hot. FUCK, I guess. Also, I would like to mention that I spelled sailor SALEOR.
Sail over.
Sail?
Are you kidding me?
Not to sail or.
I'm not kidding you.
Well, it looks like this coast is, though it has ties to mostly its adventurous and exploration, looks like there are just a few days to relax and enjoy.
Yeah, and while you're chilling, just looking through the books, you're flipping through the other compendiums of holidays, and there's, several. I don't have them all determined yet, but there's some on the calendar already. But there's probably at least 2 like holidays each month that people like to celebrate, whether it's specifically for the Emerald Coast or just like the main the creator pantheon, or like a specific race as a holiday. I'll move to Lorn though. Lorn, You're looking in. Are you looking in the religious section or the holiday section?
I'm gonna
or...
start in the religious section.
Okay.
Basically,
Do you have?
I'll say
ahead.
stuff on Shar, and then like rituals surrounding the summer solstice.
Okay. Do you have a particular question you're trying to answer, or you're just trying to find any information generally on Shar?
At the moment, just trying to find information.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a religion or an investigation check.
Alrighty. Give me a second as I find my sheet. That will be a 20, not natural.
20. Yeah, you actually do find a book on Shar. And it kind of just describes, it's like a third person, it's like a person observing Shar worship or something. Or like stories about Shar worship. And it describes, I mean, you probably wouldn't know much of anything about Shar necessarily. And so it describes a lot about, Shar worshippers typically congregate in tight-knit groups that are typically seen as cults. They stay together for a long period of time. Oftentimes, it seems like they form basically their own little like not quite towns, but their own like mini little societies. Not they're not. It's not like they form a new family necessarily, but they'll have a modestly sized group of people that basically live together
Like
for their whole lives.
Sort of like a village type thing.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily that they'll settle down, right? I mean, that's why I hesitated to call it a village. Like,
Yeah.
it could be, and if they move, they usually move together. I mean, they are small enough to be mobile often. It's not like massive groups. Not that many people worship Shar, at least not in the open, or at least not that people know of.
So like a more like nomadic style group.
Yeah, I mean, they've been known to form little towns in the wilderness that will exist for extended periods of time. They've been known to inhabit cities and have like a secret like location in a city where they reside. Their practices often revolve around forsaking your past, and oftentimes that involves literally removing the memories of your past, and only focusing on your life as a Shar worshipper. And of the Shar worshippers who they were able to speak to, they speak of that as a blessing. But there are, for those, oftentimes, the Church of Selûne, who is a rival of Shar, Selûne claims that, this is basically like how many people have been kidnapped by Shar worshippers and then forced to forget their past and are taught to believe that actually they willingly came here and they had a terrible life and forgetting their past was a blessing, but there's not really proof on either side, both because there's not many Shar worshippers who are willing to talk about that. And even if they were, the whole point is they've forgot about it, so we can't really say. And so the only chance would be, and the author kind of writes about this, like the only chance of ever truly learning would be if you found a Shar worshipper who's willing to talk about it, and then also you found people who knew them before they forgot their memory. And that just, this author hasn't found that, and hasn't read about it. They're not a well-liked group of people. The domains of Shar are less than savory, you might say. Let me remember specifically. what her domains are as opposed to others. Yeah, so forgetfulness and lies is a big thing. When they do reside in cities, they often are claimed to be the causes of political schemes and what oftentimes if there are degradation of relationships between people who were previously amicable, whether it be family members or business people or politicians or whomever. It's not like every single time it happens, but it's not uncommon for there to be rumors or blame put on, like, oh, a cultist of Shar was here and fed us lies or something like that, or one of you is a cultist of Shar and has turned to lying to us. They often get blamed for degradation of relationships between people and societies, and oftentimes to those people who've been able to communicate with Shar worshippers take credit for those things as well. So they don't necessarily see it as blame so much. Darkness in the night, there are more, it is kind of the counter to, like, the moon, in a sense. It's more, Shar leans more into the aspect of fear and of the unknown. That kind of leans more into the lies, into the forgetfulness aspect of darkness in the night, and you can wander into the darkness of night and not know where you are, and the whispers that happen around you when you can't see anything are kind of a form of lie, right? I mean, your brain makes up things that aren't real if you can't see it, and that's something that is ties into the worship a lot. And one of Shar's things, too, and this is common knowledge, part of the reason why she's rivals with Selena, beyond just being her sisters, is Shar would love a night without the moon, because that would be a night of pure darkness, and the stars too. And loss kind of ties into forgetfulness. That's one of to the extent that there are any good worshippers of Shar, oftentimes they lean into the loss and forgetfulness aspect of Shar, where people claim that Shar can provide you relief from a painful past, or can comfort you in loss. When you lose someone you love, or you are betrayed and you lose, like, everything you own or something, Shar is there to comfort you, and Shar is the only one who truly understands loss, because she is the mistress of loss. And some people see that as I mean, there are people who live in open society who they're often seen as weirdos, but who believe Shar to be actually the most good god, because she comforts the least of these, the people who have suffered the most. Shar is there for them, and so it's generally she's seen as an evil goddess, but there is definitely a contingent of people who don't see it that way, or who at least see Shar as, you have to take the good with the bad, and those people need comfort, and so Shar has to exist for those people who have lost things, and who are in suffering and who need to move on, and it's worth the lies, maybe. And that's another thing, maybe sometimes you're better off. People would argue that you're better off hearing the lie than the truth. Sometimes a white lie makes people's day or something. So there is that aspect of Shar as well, and maybe the author probably writes it as like a, I'm only putting this in to preserve my journalistic credibility, but I don't actually believe it, kind of thing. But yeah, it's not. I want to kind of emphasize also, Shar is one of the human pantheon gods, and they are typically the most well known, and so even the evil gods in the human pantheon are not. Information about them is not like secretive, not like a hidden thing, and so not that you would necessarily know this, Lorn, but in general, it's not like out of the ordinary to find a book that describes from a third person perspective the behaviors and beliefs of a particular god or religion in the human pantheon. You plural would be able to find that in just about any god with a half decent check, which you did roll in a half decent library which you're in.
All right.
I know there's a lot of information, so it's recorded.
Yeah.
That's good.
I wrote some of it down, so.
Yeah. And with the summer solstice, I will mention distinctly. You notice there is no mention of any solstice in the Book of Shar.
Okay.
Anything
Right.
else from you two? Oh, what's up, Lorn?
Yeah, I'll say. I guess, yeah, you just potentially just, trying to find maybe some book that even just, mentions, any, rituals that have to do with the solstice, even if it's not necessarily.
Yeah,
specifically
with
Shar.
that same roll, it's easy enough. I mean, you probably get some similar stuff, frankly, to what V finds just about festivals. And then you find one, you're like, that's not what I wanted. I'm looking for rituals. And you find one that's more about the magic of the solstices, and it's talks about how during the solstices, the god of summer and the god of winter, respectively, are most powerful and most influential, and it is a holy day for those gods. And on the summer solstice, the god of the sun as well, and on the winter solstice, the god of the moon, because it is the longest day on the summer solstice, and therefore the sun is out the longest, and the shortest day on the winter solstice, and therefore the moon is out the longest. And there is some in this library. There's probably not a bunch of very highly academic, magical ritual kind of information. This is it's a good library, but that's something that's more nuanced than what you'll find at kind of even a good public library in a trade city,
Yeah.
But what you do here is what you do read is what sounds like kind of a person talk to a person who read a book, and now is writing this book and says that there's I hate to say rumors, but the author might be writing the first blah, 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 the first person perspective, and say I've heard about how the barrier between planes is thinner during the solstices because it's most aligned with the planes are aligned or something, or because the celestial bodies are their most powerful and the seasons are at their peak, and the primary pantheon of all gods here, and the effectively, my pantheon doesn't have delineated greater gods or lesser gods or intermediate gods. And gods aren't all with equal power, but there's not they don't get assigned categories for the most part, except for the creator gods. And the creator gods are commonly understood. Creator gods and those gods who are labeled the patron of X species. But the creator gods are considered to be like what would be greater gods. They are the most powerful of the gods, and that's because they, and you would all, I mean, unless you decide you want to be deliberately ignorant, which is fine. But those of you who had any exposure to culture in this world, of any kind, of any society, would know that the creator gods are so because they are the ones that created the material plane. And the power of the summer and winter solstices kind of aligns with that it is kind of celestial bodies or whatever, but also a lining up of time as well. And it's an intertwining of so many of these important gods of time and of the season and of the sun, that it's only natural that magic is enhanced on that day. And then also probably on this author will also go into speculation about how, the world is ancient, and as rituals are created by mortals who develop magical techniques, some people were just like, hey, the summer solstice is cool, my guy. So my ritual only works on the summer solstice. Get fucked. So, and that's a facetious way of saying, mortals are the ones who developed magic, technically speaking. Like, they didn't create magic, but they developed techniques for it. And in communication with gods and in concert with the rules of magic. But, they're the ones that kind of discovered it, basically, you might say, or if not invented. And to a certain extent, as time has gone on for literally tens of thousands of years, some of it is probably just coincidence that these days that have otherwise significant meaning, people just decided to make their rituals align with that. Or maybe it's just easier on those days. Magic in general is easier on those days of a certain kind. And so the rituals, started, people, when magic was less sophisticated, would just do rituals then. And as time went on, maybe the reason why it happened got lost, and it became something that people thought was required, and so there's a myriad of reasons why rituals might be tied to the summer solstice. And it doesn't give any specific kinds of rituals. It describes ritual magic, a kind of magic that involves multiple creatures casting the same spell effectively, and that involves material components, and that often involves a what's the words I'm looking for? A manicured setting. So whether that be an altar or a painted ritual circle or a particular geographic location, these are the kinds of things that make something labeled a ritual. And they also make it distinct from like ritual casting a spell. It's not the same thing. Like casting a tagged, a find familiar as a ritual spell is not what is meant by ritual in this context. Though there may be some overlap depending on the kind of magic. And it is probably a tangential, like a ritual is maybe something that is only able to be cast as ritual. And it may be even the same kind of casting, but it's like a step. It's like a ritual spell is maybe took pieces of what is rituals and ingrained it in the formula of the casting, which allowed it, with material components or particular setting, to be cast in a way that is more consistent, basically.
So when you say that the techniques are man-made, but the magic is discovered, is it that the way that magic behaves is kind of been found through experimentation, and that's just kind of how they've come up with certain techniques, and then they can add in extra rules if they want to on top of that, but that's mostly something they've put in there self-imposed?
You're not there?
He's
Okay.
already planning what he's gonna say when we all come together and say that, oh, this is that. He's like, I'm gonna get this out of the way now. It's like, wow.
I would
Okay,
say
okay.
I mean, and to a certain extent, the author isn't educated enough in this topic to even provide you with that answer. And so to the extent that you are thinking that, well, it could mean either of those, that is partially intentional. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about necessarily, so.
Okay, can I ask about Kurze's druid magic?
Sure.
How does a druid like me know to do certain things to cast a spell?
You know how to do certain things to cast a spell from a combination of instinct and you in particular, divine guidance, and also as you have used magic over your lifetime, it is a matter of like I imagine myself when I'm like writing like HTML or something for like D&D Beyond or for the DM binder, where it's like, oh, if I put the slash there, then it does that, and if I put the bracket there, then it does that. It's a little bit of that, like if I move my finger this way, this changes, and so sometimes it's like the basics were handed to you, and then maybe you also sometimes are able to like, you probably don't understand how it works necessarily, but you do know that if you change things change.
Okay, gotcha.
But you in particular especially don't know, like, you don't know the real source of magic per se,
No, I don't.
from the
I don't
universal
know
standpoint.
I don't know if it's the force of nature giving
Yeah.
me power, my own innate thing, or Satanin. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's all for me.
All right. Anything else from you two?
I don't believe so. Toby, you got anything else?
I was gonna say, if V's just looking at the holiday stuff, you find your books and walk over, and V's click to close it, and all done.
Yep.
Well, let's I've lost track of time, so let's head over to the tavern and see if the others are there.
Might as well.
Alrighty. Well, here we go. Start heading out.
Okay. Those of you at the tavern, Kurze, are you going to the temple alone, or are the three of you going with him? Or are some of you going with him and some of you not?
I'll go with them.
I assume so.
I can stay back.
On Ethan.
Nathaniel, are you
leave
still
'em.
present?
Sorry, I popped my finger out and it really hurt.
What?
You did what?
I popped my pointer finger out of its socket.
How?
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay, good,
Okay.
good.
It really hurts.
I can
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Was it a ritual?
Oh my god.
I'll stay here as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
In one piece, Ethan. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Is your finger still out of its socket?
No.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
that's good.
Good.
That's good.
Oh.
Ethan, what-
How'd you manage
I was
that?
giving it a little
yeah,
stretch.
what did you
And I
do?
stretched it a little bit too much.
You were like
Uh.
cracking your knuckles like this or something?
Yeah. I don't know my own strength.
Mm,
He did not roll
I would be
good.
lying if I said I didn't almost do that before. So good on you for actually doing it. That's impressive.
Thanks. That's what I was going
So-
for. That's why we
Okay.
do it.
Kurze and Seraphine.
Alright, I head in the temple.
Yep.
Gonna look around. I don't think I've actually been in a Temple of the Moon before.
No, you have not, I don't think. This is a Temple of Saluna. I said Sahanian, I think Temple of Saluna. Let me pull up some pictures. Yeah, I like it. I like it. We're gonna go with this one because quality game. What was I thinking? Oh yeah. So you walk in, it's a pretty typical temple. There's some pews, there's an aisle, center aisle, there's some columns on the side, they have hallways, and at the kind of front is a medium, it's not medium creature size, but like it's not like a massive statue, but it's probably twice the size of a human being, or a normal sized human being. Statue of Saluna. There's lots of glass up top as the light streams in onto Saluna. It does appear that, I'd say at this time, it's starting to turn to evening. And so probably actually as you come in, you'll see that there are shades that actually are on the windows. And as the sun is coming down, they are opening the shades. So the moonlight can shine onto the statue. There's several, like a handful of priestesses and priests around. More priestesses, I would say, not by like a huge margin, but just in general. And there's a few people who are sitting in the pews praying, I would say.
I go up to whatever priest there is. It's like, hello. I was interested in some theological history. I'm a follower of Sahanian and wanted to learn more about Mount Saluna, and specifically her significance to the Emerald Peninsula. Is there any stories or locations of a specific node in the theological history? Whether it's her or her dark sister.
She kind of looks at you and, oh, you're a worshiper of... I mean, that's interesting. I haven't spoken to a worshiper of Sahanian here before. Well, welcome. We always love a good worshiper of the moon. You're a worshiper of Satan. Okay. Ritual or areas of importance for our religion on the Emerald Peninsula. I can't say that Saluna necessarily has a extra special tie here with regard to like specific locations of religious interest, but we do, of course, we are a patron church of seekers and of secrets and of navigators, and to that extent, the Emerald Coast is quite the kindred spirit, you might say, for Saluna. Many of the denizens of the Emerald Coast pray to Saluna not for the moon, but rather for navigational guidance, or to seek out treasures, or to learn the secrets of history that are hidden deeper inland. And to that extent, we like to keep a solid presence here to assist those in need and to further the causes of navigation and seeking and secrets. Yeah. I'm sorry if that was a little bit vague. Is there any... You mentioned Shar. Is there anything in particular that you are requesting or asking about with regard to Shar?
Well, I don't want to alarm you, but in our adventures, we've my group has come across some Shar worshippers, and so we're trying to find any others that have who has the letter and journal. That's it.
I feel like
I know
that's
we
kind of
picked it
a
up.
we put that in group party.
Hey Matt, if you want to have it on you, go for it.
I have it. Okay.
Okay.
And if I didn't, I would have asked for it before I got here. So
Yeah, literally in our party notes, it does just say journal.
yeah.
That's legendary.
Yeah, not too far from Rest Haven, we found one of their that was working on some dark stuff, and we're trying. This will be easier if I show you. We found this in the dungeon. There was something to do with experimenting on a tree, but it seems like they're preparing for some sort of ritualistic sacrifice on the solstice. And so I was wondering, I know it's an enemy to our faith, but would there be any knowledge you could give me on where they might be holding a sacrifice? Maybe like Gemheart Lake or something like that. You said many secrets inland, and that seems pretty remote.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say something. Why would they be going to Gemheart Lake?
I don't know, I don't know, it's just a gut feeling. So I used to attend to a shrine close to a lake, and so I imagine that, I don't know, what Shar worshippers maybe gather around similar features that the moon worshippers would, in kind of spite of it.
Not in my experience, no. I don't have any particular draw to water. Not that they have an aversion to it either, but it wouldn't be something that I would assume without other information. This is extremely concerning, though. Shar in league with the Mistress of Lies.
Oh, Mistress of Lies is not. I thought it was another alias for Shar.
No. You can see her demeanor slowly just disintegrating as we discussed earlier.
So we're going to we're going to go and take care of it. So you don't have to worry about this thing developing too far out of control.
Not to not to be rude, but I hesitate to place trust in a random adventurer I met to thwart Wolf.
Ah. Hold on, let me see. Does Kurze know who Lorn is? Known gods. Wolf. No, I don't. Who's Wolf?
Oh no! This is Kurze. Let's go.
Loth. You don't know who Loth is. Loth is, well, she is the patron goddess of Drow. She is the arch enemy of Sehanin. And one of the most powerful and devious gods in existence. Yes, she, I will go ahead and add this to your list, actually. I'll go ahead and pop her portfolios in your thing.
Yeah.
She is the goddess of assassins, lies, chaos, darkness, drow, evil. Evil, just in general evil. And spiders.
It seems a little
Sounds like a lovely
redundant.
person.
I could speak on Loth for quite a while, though I don't mean to give you a religious lecture, but very concerning if Shar is working with Loth. That is unprecedented. And, well, I suppose, as far as I know, and terrifying.
Do either of the faiths have a history with the Emerald Coast?
Well, Shar, I wasn't all that surprised to hear there are Shar cultists. Shar sends to trail wherever Selûne exists.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To thwart us. It's not uncommon to have Shar worshippers around, though in congregations of any meaningful size, that would be a not unusual, but not typical. I can't say that I'm extremely familiar with Wolf's affiliations. I just know her as much as any religious person would, frankly. You would have to speak to... Well, you said you're a worshipper of Seraphine. I would normally say that you could talk to any priest of Seraphine for information on Loth, but
Druid follower. Yeah, it's I'm a little
more of a follower of Seraphine than a
worship.
priest of any kind.
Yeah.
I see.
I got a friend of mine gave me this staff since he said that it seemed to respond more to my call than it did to his. He was more of a... Was Erky a worshipper?
Of Seluna, yeah.
Yeah. He was a worshipper of Seluna, this staff right here. And so maybe, it's time for... if the enemies of the moon have united, then maybe the worshippers of Seluna, or worshippers and followers of Seluna and Seraphine are meant to join as well.
Yes, it seems like that would be important. And she kind of takes the staff and looks at it, and this is a beautiful, beautiful artifact. And
there
touches
some
it.
people... Yeah. This seems to be a very big issue.
Well, she looks at it and she starts to... You kind of start to talk, and she just ignores you, sort of. and and she starts to kind of caress the moon on it. And she kind of closes her eyes, and for a moment you kind of... It's almost like perfectly timed. The shades are pulled back, and the sun sets, and the moon shines through the windows and onto the statue. And, maybe the statue's even holding a staff of its own, and it shines off the staff of the statue, and it silhouettes this woman in moonlight. And as she closes her eyes for a moment, actually...
Fireball.
A radiant fireball is cast at your location. No. Hold on. The staff glows with power.
Oh.
Oh, gods above. I
Um,
don't think I remember this happening when I held it.
Dang, now you have to give her the staff. It's responding better to her now.
I thought we had something special.
Nah, you picked it up off some other guy. Now it's being passed to the next. Come on.
and... Hold on, I can find your inventory now.
Yeah, you
Inventory.
really found that fast.
If you open up the Moonweaver's Grace in your inventory,
Oh.
I'm so glad
you should
you found
have
the
a new
hotkey.
property.
Hotkey's so cool.
Okay. We will... Oh. As a magic action, you can touch an ally you see and take up to a penalty to your... minus 1 penalty to your AC or saving throws and grant them an equal bonus. Ooh, that's pretty good. For a split second, I was gonna be like, kind of making a joke, just like, oh my god, topple!
And she kind of like blinks off the stupor and goes, "I'm sorry, I'm not really sure what happened. Yes, certainly we should align. Sorry, here's your staff back." She kind of like looks at her hands like, what the fuck just happened? But yes, certainly. I think if Shar's getting involved, Sahane, or if Loth is getting involved, I would want Sahane on my side. Sahane is one of the only gods to have a history of thwarting Loth. So
He's pretty cool. Yeah.
yes. I'm sorry, you came with a specific question. I got a little carried away.
Yeah. Is there any well, you're it's just kind of like not expected. Kurze just watched someone just become the main character for a second and just was like, it's like, shit, am I a side character? You said there isn't any locations in particular here. Because now that this has become an issue to the Church of Saloon, is there some places that maybe this information should be carried out to, or is that something you could handle?
I would have to think on it. I'll certainly consult with my fellow priests here.
Any, you said
Yeah.
there's little stories on thwarting Lolth. Maybe you have a text or two I can take a look at about thwarting Shar?
Yeah. Maybe we can. I mean, Char and Saluna are typically just at each other's throats constantly. Frankly, I can certainly. I mean, we can certainly look into blah, blah, blah. Examples in the past where Char has a plan and Saluna has thwarted it. Yes, I think I will need to consult with my fellow priests. If you're searching for Shar cultists, not to be derogatory, but you know, it's Shar. They're not the most
Visible?
unique. What's the word I'm looking for? Unique. A group of people. If there's a location that is spooky, for lack of a better word, they like to hide there. I mean, it's cliche, frankly. I don't understand it, but I guess it's part of the vibe of Shar, you know, darkness and all that. But you know, look out for anything that's ominously spooky.
Yeah, okay.
And you know, it's worth looking into, frankly. Any hints of disrupting the goings about of daily life, of creating chaos, of spreading rumors, false rumors, or creating a shadow of doubt over something. These are all not dispositive indications of Shar's influence, but certainly examples of what her worshippers do. Yeah. And certainly keep in touch. I'll discuss more, and I hope we continue to hear from you soon. Your name? What's your name?
Oh, Kurze.
Kurze. I come here. And I'm Lena, by the way. And she'll kind of call out to I was gonna say Daniel. I was like, Sir Daniel, he's
Yeah, let's go.
I just look over and I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh no.
He kills himself. Neil, this is Kurze. I just need you to she kind of grabs your shoulders and like places you. Get a good look at him. He's a worshiper of Seluna. Kurze, say hello.
Hi.
And he goes, hello. I assume you're like, you want me to remember him for sending? And she goes, yes, exactly. Sorry, Neil here can cast a spell for communication. So he just needs to he's familiar with you is all. So if we need to get in contact with you, Neil will reach out. And of course, if you. You
So fucking dumb.
Why does that work so well? God damn.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And so yes, and of course keep in touch if you're in town. If there's anything else you think of, please stop by.
Okay. Of course. We're staying in here for a couple days before we go out adventuring again. So I'll yeah, hopefully we can stay in touch for as much as possible. And Emeroth is a pretty busy place, so I don't know if this is going to be a place we frequent like a ton, but it's a good candidate.
Certainly. That's a lovely city.
Yes, of course. Well, so I kind of put my hand out to shake. I was like, well, let's just say this is, one small step for our relationship here.
Oh my god.
Bro.
I hate you. Because I feel obligated to give you an inspiration. You can have an inspiration.
Yeah.
But I hate you for it, to be clear.
Understood.
Yes, certainly. One small step in a relationship between Seluna and Seraphine.
God damn it.
Okay. And I don't know. We want to spread word, but we don't want it to be. We don't want to make too much of a commotion that these people know that they've been had.
Certainly
So
not, and they are good at keeping an eye on the means of communication.
So I suppose they will know one way or another that the one their one follower isn't responding anymore. But that can always happen from just regular adventurers doing what regular adventurers do. Doesn't necessarily mean that that their sworn enemies are looking for him.
You managed to slay this man.
I'm just remembering he might have gotten away. Actually, we were able to halt his activities with and I tell him about the tree.
Yeah. Ah, that is concerning.
But it seems kind of tangential to what their true goals seem to be.
That's true. There's no reason for them to believe that just because a couple of adventurers came to rescue a couple other adventurers, that means anything.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember back to the dungeon. Did he know? Was there a point where we outwardly said to him that I was a follower of Satanine? I'm trying to remember.
I believe he recognized the staff.
Ah, okay.
Mhm. He wasn't too happy about it.
Yeah, and I tell him that's So they might have a sneaking suspicion, but it's maybe they could also think it's serendipity.
Mm-hmm. We should get working on this.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
You as well.
Yeah.
Despite the circumstances.
I'll come by if I have any more questions, and if how do you? Oh, you said you had sending.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, let me know if there's any developments on your side, and some days I have a friend who can cast set. Alicia can cast sending, right? I remember. Did we get a sending stone for that, or did Alicia just?
It was a
cast
rental.
sending? It was a rental.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't level 5 when we got it.
Yeah.
All right. I know. On some days, I have a wizard friend who could possibly communicate back to you.
On some days.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very complicated, but we don't. Yeah.
You gotta be vague with it. Ooh.
It's
All right.
Main the moon shine our way forward.
Yes. Certainly. Okay. Have a good day, Kurze. Or night, I suppose.
Yeah.
May the moon
See you
shine.
too, Lena and Neil.
Bye. Neil.
Yep.
Look up with Neil Armstrong's voice.
That's
And I'll
one
return to the
small
group
step
and then
for
just
man.
basically say, "Hey, we need to talk, guys."
Vols and Carter are already drunk at this point.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it wasn't very wasted. Lorn and V got back at this point. Oh yeah, Seraphine was also there the whole time at the temple.
Yeah,
It's correct.
yeah. Seraphine just kind of was standing there, just. So, oh, crap! I should have asked them about that. Oh, there's always tomorrow.
84 bottles of beer in my mouth. 84 bottles of beer.
There are 84 bottles of beer on the floor.
Goodness.
85 bottles of beer on the floor. What?
Take one down, pass it to me.
Hey guys, Let's find a table that's in the back.
There's not really. Oh yeah, I guess it's the sailors who want to talk privately, so it's probably a more secluded table.
So I went over to the temple, me and Seraphine, and then I say everything that I've learned.
Mm-hmm, yes.
So
Yep. This is why it's important to pay attention to all the things that happened before. So you can be like,
Exactly.
"Yep, there you go," and you don't need to explain it all.
So yeah, Mistress of Lies. Did not know that. That was a thing. Sounds a little.
So this Mistress of Lies is another god?
And she seems a little more hardcore than Char. Not to discount Char's influence on the world.
Char smotes you. No.
Oh,
Not for anything else you've done, but for dissing her.
it's so real, though.
Yeah.
Well, based on what... Excuse me.
What are they competing? Like, it almost felt like, in a weird way, it was like two halves of a deal coming together. Because in the letter, it almost felt like it's like, oh, the Loth worshippers got their sacrifice, and it seems nice and shiny. And it's like we need to, measure up to that.
Well, this woman at the temple said they're like, as she put it, spooky places, is what you said?
It was real official.
Well, I
We
guess
gotta find spooky space.
based on that, and what we learned earlier from the sailors, maybe that manor east of here is a good place to go first.
You need
Ugh,
some water?
Yeah, maybe.
There's plenty of water outside.
I don't
Jumps
know.
into the fucking river.
No.
Goes into the ocean to get to drink some water.
Oh no, I mean like
They
I'm
just
looking
become
into
more
his,
dehydrated.
I'm looking into his eyes right now, and I'd say he's got a solid like 20 seconds, and we're gonna be figuring out how much he drank.
Nah.
That's when you like sit the wrong way and your stomach just gets compressed and then just
Yeah. I'm just gonna inch my way out of the splash zone.
Exactly. Good thing we're standing.
Fools just
Yeah,
trying to
I
keep
mean-
it together.
I mean, yeah, spooky places. So we could go around asking sailors about, maybe other places on the Emerald Coast that they found particularly spooky. I'm sure that a guy who thought that his mom was a cultist or something had some stories. Yeah, it's even a stop clock is right twice a day. Our
His
clocks
mom's a
change in this
cultist
world.
twice a day.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Artificers are a thing, so clocks are a thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wait,
Yes.
what did you say?
Even your mom's a cultist twice a day.
Yeah, you can have inspiration for that one.
You said it, Carter.
I can.
Yes.
All right.
That is.
This is... Things escalated a lot faster than I thought they were. Also, I think, Elena might be a lot more important than she thinks she is. But, so did, so did Sir Daniel. And so I think...
I'm
you
gonna
know,
look for
let-
Sir Daniel to solve all your problems.
Yeah.
Sir Daniel, save us.
it's gonna be revealed far down the line. Sir Daniel is like a wolf worshiper. It was like, we trusted you, Sir Daniel. I don't even know who the hell you guys are.
You never see him again for the rest of the campaign until he's the DBG. And you're like, you betrayed us. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about?